Now available in paperback and Kindle, All About Marilyn. Learn all about the struggles of a faded former teen sitcom star in this absolutely fabulous 5-star screenplay. Get All About Marilyn in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com today. One of my viewers asked me what were my opinions regarding a teenage girl getting involved with an adult man. Now, singer Drake Bell has gotten into trouble for getting involved with a teenage girl, and my opinion regarding any adult man getting involved with a teenage girl is the same opinion I had when I was 15 years old. I do not believe it is appropriate for a grown man to be involved with a teenage girl. And the reason why I now continue to believe this opinion is because I know that while a teenage girl believes that she is more mature than a teenage boy, she is not more emotionally mature to be involved in any relationship with an older man. And the reason why she's not emotionally mature is because she has not come into herself just yet, and she doesn't really know who she is as a person. So when I look at a teenage girl, she just is not ready for that kind of relationship with an adult man. And oftentimes when a girl does get involved with an adult man, oftentimes she winds up in a situation where she winds up getting taken advantage of by that older man. And that's something I saw happen many times when I was a teenager, back when I was going to Park West High School in the late 1980s, and I saw many teenage girls who I went to school with getting involved with these older men, oftentimes being drug dealers, and many of these girls, they were just caught up in the attention that they were getting from these guys, and they were also caught up in the whole idea of an older man paying attention to them. But they just did not understand that a relationship is about relating to the other person, and they really don't understand that the person you're trying to relate to is out of your league. Now, when I say out of your league, I mean that the person doesn't have anything in common with you, and that's what happens to a lot of these teenage girls, like the ones I went to Park West High School with. And those girls would oftentimes sit there bragging about how they had these boyfriends who were 21, 22, 23, and some of them even had 30-year-old boyfriends. And a lot of those girls wound up in a situation where they were getting taken advantage of by these guys who they thought they were going to get over on, because some of these girls thought, oh, because they were getting material gifts like gold chains, shearling coats, and Air Jordan sneakers, they were getting over on these guys, but these guys were taking advantage of these younger girls' naivete, and they were looking to manipulate these young teenage girls into having a relationship they were not emotionally ready for. Because a teenage girl, yes, again, it matured faster than the boy, but her mental state is just not ready for any sort of relationship with an older man. And that in that situation, oftentimes, a older man, he can go out here and take advantage of that young girl by telling her what she wants to hear, and he can wind up misleading that girl and have her in a situation where he winds up using her for her body sexually, and then after he uses her for her body sexually, he then winds up doing damage to her mentally and emotionally that winds up scarring her for years. And that's what happened to many young girls that I went to school with. Many of those young girls, they got involved with these older guys who were, again, 21, 22, 23, and sometimes even 25, 30 years old. And those guys, they were not really in a place where they were looking to go out here and build a relationship with a woman. No, they just wanted a piece of young, attractive eye candy on their arms. And they didn't even think about wanting to go out here and do things like talk about marriage or a family. No, it was all about him having that young, attractive girl on his arm, being able to get sex from that girl easily because this girl was in her feelings about how cute this guy was, and all she was thinking about is, I've got a cute boyfriend, but not understanding that in a relationship, a man is supposed to take on a role under God's natural order. And that's what really is the most sad part about this whole situation, is that these girls wind up in a situation where they wind up being taken advantage of, and they wind up having these sexual relations with this older man, and this older man winds up using them for their body, and this winds up doing extensive damage to this girl later on, because this girl, after she's had sex with this man, what happens is she has now got this man's DNA inside of her. She has bonded with this man spiritually, and now this man has a soul tie with her, and because they are participating in this casual sexual relationship and things end, this winds up making it where this girl it has next to it impossible to have a relationship with another man later on. So when I look at this whole situation with these teenage girls who get involved with these older men, it's a really bad road for those girls, because those girls often wind up in a situation where they wind up spiritually again bonded to a man who will not be with them for the rest of their life, a man not interested in going out here and building a marriage or a family, and a man who is just out here clout chasing, looking to elevate his social status by saying he went out here and is having a sexual relationship with this younger girl. So it's a really bad situation for a daughter to be in. And when you have a teenage girl, she desperately needs a father in her life, because it's a father who goes out here and vets these kind of males, because the father, once he's there and these older men see that he is there, a lot of them wind up scrambling and splitting because they don't want anything to do with that father. And that father, he provides that layer of protection that allows that daughter to be safe from these kind of guys. Now, there are women out here who do get involved with older men. And again, I use the word women because a woman is in a place of mental and emotional maturity that she can go out here and have that relationship with that older man. And because she's in that place of mental and emotional maturity, which I say is about 20 to 25, then she is ready for a relationship with a grown man. And that relationship can work because now she's ready to be a helpmeet and a support to that man. And if she's had the teachings as related to God's natural order on how to be a wife, then she can have a suitable marriage with that man, because then in that relationship she can be led and taught by that man as related to doing the work that they are supposed to do on earth. So as I look at it, yes, there are relationships between older women and grown and older men, but these are again relationships between a woman and a man. And when those two come together as one sexually, that it's a reciprocal relationship because both partners are connecting to each other, and that's what's going to allow them to form a healthy relationship. It is not the same as a teenage girl who again is thinking that she's so much more mature than the teenage boys she gets involved with. But the whole thing is, that those boys are actually on her level, because while she thinks that she can go out here and pass tests in school and can go out here and do different things, she does not understand that her emotions and her mental state are not ready for a relationship with a grown man who is on another level. And because he's on another level, she's not ready for him, and she's not ready to do what is asked of him, and she is not ready to do that kind of work. And again, a father, when he's in the home and he sees this grown man approaching, he is going to send that man packing, because he knows that this is not a good relationship for his daughter, and he's going to make an effort to protect his daughter from these kind of men by vetting those men at the door. And those guys, oftentimes, they know that they're not going to get near that girl until she is of age, and that they have to get that father's approval and blessing in order to have a relationship. But if she goes out here and gets involved with these older guys, as I have seen during the dark days of the late 1980s, oftentimes this is what happens to these girls, is either they wind up emotionally damaged when this relationship winds up failing because they've had sex with this man, and that man, his spirit is inside of them and their DNA is a part of them. And Ringo has talked about this in depth, because the two have become one, and she's still hurting about this man winding up trying to sever his tie from her, because they have soul ties together, and that leads to her never being able to bond with another man, or she winds up becoming a single mother who still has the same emotional issues and still has an illegitimate child by this man. And this is again why fathers are needed to protect young girls from these kind of guys, because a father is the first man in her life, and it's that first man who gives her that protection. And this is one of the things that I'm writing in my new book, The Woman Crisis, all about, because so many people do not understand the importance of a father in a girl's life, because the one reason why a lot of these girls go looking for older men is because they're looking for the love of a father, and they have these daddy issues, so they go looking for this man to be like a father to them. But if they had that father in their life to be that man in their life, they're going to try to, in many cases, go out here and hang out with the teenage boys, go out here and just go to the movies and stuff, and they're not going to look to explore a lot of these different things, because they're getting their emotional needs met by their father. And that's the most important thing about a girl, is getting her emotional needs met by her father, because when the father is there to meet those emotional needs, she does not need to go out here and look for love, because she knows that she can feel love from her father. And when she feels love from her father, she's not looking for another man to fulfill her. And that's what leads to that girl not really looking for any sort of relationship outside of the one she wants to have with her husband. And that's all part of a healthy relationship between a girl and her father, because if she's got that man in her life, she's not looking for another man to be in her life. And that's what happens when there is a father. When she has that older man in her life, she is not looking for relationships with older men until she becomes a woman. Now, I hope this gives everybody an understanding of my opinion on these relationships between teenage girls and your older men. I have not been a fan of this, and I don't think it's appropriate, and I have had this opinion ever since I was 15 years old, and that's the way I believe things should go. And I'm hoping this gives you a better understanding of things. So if you want to see me make more videos like this one, a viewer requested, you can send a donation to the Cash App by clicking a link in the description box. And if you want to support the channel and see me make more videos, you can donate to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.